you so much for being on Lessons Learned.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so let's just get right into it. So I saw your first video on TikTok and I was like blown away by your hair and everything. So just what was your first reaction when you blew up on TikTok?
Well, so the funny thing is that so the video itself, I posted that video on Instagram and
Mhm.
it really didn't get a lot of views, and I was like, I know this is a really good video.
You're like, I know.
So my friend, she told me a long time ago that I needed to post my content on TikTok because she feel like I will get more of an audience and views over there. So I put it on TikTok, and then like the first few hours, I was like, it's not doing anything. It
Right.
has views. What's going on?
You're like,
And then so
hello.
yeah, I'm like, hello, don't you see this video? And so so I actually was on my way to go to Vegas, and so before I left to go to Vegas, it had like 1,000 views, and I was like, okay, somebody's watching it. And then once I got like when I got on the plane, landed in Vegas, and like by that night, it had like 12,000 views, and I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere.
Oh my
And then I wake up the next day, and boom, it has like already almost a million views the next day. So within 24 hours, it had a million views,
Oh
literally.
my.
So I was like, okay.
You're like, okay, I should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah. So I was like, I thought it would get a bunch of views, but I didn't think it would get a million.
I know how long you've been natural for, but how long have you how long have you been natural, to tell the listeners?
So I've been it also kind of depends on what you consider natural, because some people ask what's natural when you last get your relaxer. And I don't necessarily consider that when you went natural per se, because technically I stopped getting relaxers January 2010, but I wasn't natural. I was still like doing whatever I was doing with my hair and putting glue in it and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so it wasn't until I made the conscious effort that okay, I'm actually natural. And then I cut off my hair. So if you want to consider like the big chop, is when I actually went natural. So that would be in June of 2011. And so basically I've been natural for 10 years.
Wow. Yes. Awesome. And what made you become natural, like after the, sew-ins and braids and all that?
My friend, she went natural in 2010. And I never saw it as something for me. I was like, okay. And to just be like completely honest, when she went natural, I knew nothing about being natural or anything. I know, like, I've seen like people with afros and all that kind of stuff. I grew up like with my grandmother having pictures of her with afros and stuff. But when my friend went natural, I in my head I was like, oh, she can do that because she's half African. Like she's
Yeah.
it's like, so I didn't necessarily consider it like a beauty thing or anything, like something that's pretty or anything. And not saying she was ugly. I'm just saying like the being like wearing your hair in the afro and
Yeah.
stuff.
No, I totally understand.
And she proudly wore her hair. Like when I saw her, like she was like model walking down the street, like, yeah, I'm natural. And she had like her hair was probably like an inch when she cut it. And so she's half African, half Black American. So I was like, okay, well, she can do that because she's closer to Africa than I am.
Right.
Yeah,
no.
So
Yeah.
she can do that. But I don't know, she started inspiring me about like just like basically waking me up, so to speak, in regards to like hair and stuff and societal views. And she pointed me to some YouTube channels that she was watching, and then that's when I got inspired to go natural.
Wow, that's awesome. And because I've been natural, I don't even honestly, I didn't keep track, but I've even to this day, it took me like about 2 years to actually be comfortable wearing my natural hair. Like, I used to be like you, I used to be like, oh no, I couldn't do that. Like, that's not something I would do because it's a lot to maintain. And, I'm not going to shy that away, but it's definitely a lot of courage to take and to be natural because there's a lot of stigma with it,
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Definitely.
yeah, that's the thing. So like what tips, like if they want to start being natural, what tips could you give people?
So if you want to go natural, I would definitely suggest doing like your research. Because I wouldn't want someone going in blindly and not knowing what they're getting themselves into, because it's not only like the physical sense of being natural, but it's also like the mentality. Like, people are going to talk about you, or people are going
Yes.
to questions. And so I feel like if you're not like mentally prepared for that, or you're not ready to take that on, then you might want to rethink it, just to be honest. Because I know people say like being natural is not for everybody, but I mean, it is for everybody, but it's for you at the right time, when it's your time.
Exactly.
And so it was my time when I went natural. So I was able to stand up to people who were saying, you need to do your hair, and what you do, like why you cut your hair and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I had the mentality, and I was prepared because I did my research, and up until that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one tip. Definitely doing your research, watch YouTube channels to get inspired by people, and so that you're convinced within yourself that this is what you want to do.
Yeah. Watch her YouTube channel.
Right. And so, because you want to, make sure that's what you want to do, and no one else, regardless of what they say, or how they view you, won't change that, because you will definitely revert real quick to the relaxer.
Right. Yeah, or just wearing wigs and stuff, trying on your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like my next question, are crocheting, like braiding your hair, would you consider that like a protective hairstyle? Because a lot of people, even myself included, I'd be like, oh, this is like a protective style, but sometimes it breaks off your hair. So what do you think about that?
I think if it's a protective style, it shouldn't cause damage to your hair, right? And so I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to put it
No, yeah, be honest, girl.
I don't think wearing weave is a protective style.
Yeah,
It's a hairstyle. Because guess what? When we were relaxed and stuff, we weren't considered that, oh, I'm wearing a protective style. No, you got your hair did.
Yeah.
So that's what I consider. I consider it you getting your hair did, you changing it up, for whatever reason. So I also consider it hiding your hair, not necessarily protecting. Because when you protect your hair, you're also making sure you're maintaining the moisture and everything else. And so I just consider it that you're hiding your hair with a hairstyle.
Mm-hmm. Especially like with the crocheting and like the braiding and wrapping your hair underneath it. Yeah, it definitely, especially with me, it causes breakage. So it's just best to not wear something like that.
They're good in some instances.
Yeah.
But I see people who, like, you don't even know what their hair is, because they're keeping it hidden, not protected, hidden.
Exactly.
So if you got some braids done and you kept them in for that one hairstyle, and then you went back to doing your own protective hairstyling, then I don't see an issue with that. But if you're just constantly like, this is like, no one knows,
no one knows what your hair looks like. And I used to be at fault for this. Like, I'm being very vulnerable. I used to wear wigs and I'd be like, no, it has to be the same color. It has to be the same, because I don't want people knowing my hair. Because, you have that insecurity about like how people are going to view you and stuff. So it's like, kind of like you have to be open and just try things out. Like whenever you are comfortable,
Right. And it's also the mindset. I always say it's the mindset. Like, what is the mindset behind you wearing the weave? Is it because you don't like your hair right now and you want to hide it? Yeah. Or is it, you're getting a hairstyle, like I said, which is nothing wrong with that. But if you have like the intentions, like, okay, I'm just going to hide my hair with this weave, you're not protecting your hair. You're hiding it.
Exactly. So tell us about your October challenge. I know it's October, which is crazy, but tell us about your October challenge you have in store.
Yeah, so I'm doing a protective style challenge where we, I just call it protective style challenge because it's just easier where everybody's used to hearing, but it's really includes like low manipulation styles as well. But basically doing styles to your hair and following a routine to help you retain the length that you're already growing, because people think that they're not growing hair and you actually are growing. And so by participating in a challenge, you get to see that from point A to point Z, that you actually did grow your hair. You just didn't know that you were doing anything to retain it, because you were doing, all the things to your hair, wearing too many wash and goes or whatever, causing. And so that's the purpose of the Protect Style Challenge. I actually have to do my hair today so that I can,
get it started.
But yeah, so that's what it is basically. Just a way for people to establish a routine for 6 months if you participate the whole 6 months to so you can know and feel confident that your hair is growing. You just have to retain the length. That's all you have to do. And when you do a challenge, that helps you take that into your own lifestyle. Some people have said when they did the last challenge, now they're actually doing it as part of just a regular routine, just their normal, and which is what I've said. Like, I've basically been doing protected style challenges, quote, it's like just my natural hair routine. And so I consider it a challenge for people who are not used to something like that. And so that because they say whenever you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Well, with hair, we need longer than that, because 21 days is nothing for us. So when you establish something for 6 months and you do it, it just becomes natural for you to just continue to do it throughout the whole year and forever, or if you want to.
Yeah. Wow, I love that. I love how you have challenges, to empower Black women, to like make sure to see, your hair is growing. You just have to maintain it.
Right.
Yeah. So just one last question. And what are the lessons that you've learned by being natural or just in life in general so far?
Well, one lesson which I've kind of mentioned is that and not everyone is going to appreciate what you're doing with your hair. And a lot of that has to do with themselves, them not coming to terms with who they really are. And so I always, so when I went natural, I wasn't like necessarily embracing like who I was. I was just like, okay, I know I'm going to go natural. I know I want to, cut my hair. But it wasn't until like 2012 when I decided, okay, I am going to embrace all of this that comes with me, this natural hair, the naturalness of it. I'm not going to put any weaves in it. I'm not going to, I'm just going to, like, when people see me, they need to know that this is just my hair, because I've spent 20 years of people not knowing one day if I'm gonna have long braids to my butt, or if I'm gonna have a short, like, quick weave or something like that. Like, I want people to know that, okay, if I do come out with short hair, it's just my shrinkage of my own natural hair. If it lives a little elongated the next day, that's still my natural hair.
Right.
And so I just made the decision that I'm just gonna stop everything and not even put weave in my hair either, which is why I call it No More Lies, because I don't want any kind of lie, whether it's a relaxer or a weave, because I feel like if you're hiding your hair behind weaves, that's just as bad as hiding it with the relaxer. And so I learned to just embrace who I am and embrace being comfortable and confident. And if my hair looks raggedy one day, then oh well.
Oh, well, just a day. Tomorrow's gonna be better.
I had said to somebody, can we, like, just like a different races normalizes messy buns, can we normalize messy buns for natural hair and messy, curls and stuff like that? So
yeah, we should normalize, our afros, our shrinkage, because it's natural. It's our natural hair. And sometimes it makes me sad when there's Black women that are trying to defend weaves, wigs, and all that. And it's like, no, just accept the fact that you're not comfortable wearing your natural hair. It's okay. Because I wasn't like that either,
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much. Like, keep inspiring others. And just thank you so much for being on Lessons Learned.
No problem. Thank you for having me.